Hey there YouTube, Mr. Lufu, more set review. Let's just go ahead and hop right in. So we have Archetype of Finality first, which has one of my favorite arts of the set. Like, there's one thing that they did well with Born of Gods, and that's the art is gorgeous. Creatures you control have Death Touch, and they just lose all their Death Touch. It is just a 2/3 for 6. I'm not sure how good it is compared to the other archetypes. Like, the white one I think is by far the best. Um, and like I don't know, for 6 mana you could give all your creatures flying if you were in blue, and Death Touch is like, oh look at me, I can kill your stuff now. I don't know. Ashok's Adept is a 1/3 for 3, which, as I was saying in the other videos, 3 toughness, not that big in this format. So it's not a good blocker as you would think, but it has an heroic ability that's like, oh, maybe I get you to discard a card. Yeah, I don't like it that much. Asphyxiate, good removal. Good removal. Destroy target untapped creature. This is a card that you're gonna kinda need. Um, Given if they're just turning their creature sideways every turn, like if you're behind on board and they're just constantly attacking, that's where this card is not as good. But it's still solid removal, I think. That and, well, Bioblights had discussion for standard for a reason. It's pretty good. -3/-3 is noticeable because, as I said, 3 toughness. There's a lot of them. Black Oak of Udonos. It's a 0/5 for 3, so it's actually a very good blocker in this format. Very few things can get past it. And then it is an inspired enabler, so you can just tap another untapped creature to get +1/+1 at the cost of black. So I think that this card is actually pretty good in limited. It's not like insane or anything, but I think that in this format, it's an impossible to deal with creature. The 0/5 body is quite relevant, and it can fit in just a lot of archetypes. This is one card that I think is a sleeper that you might want to keep your eye on at pre-release. Champion of Stray Souls, very good mythic and limited. I won't say play, in constructed or anything, but it's pretty good. It is important to know as a judge and rules things, you sacrifice the creatures and you name the targets. So you name your targets when you try to activate the ability, so it's not like you can sack creatures with enter the battlefield effects, and then return them right away. They have to be in your graveyard when you activate the ability. Claim of Erebos, so 2 mana, it's an aura, and you can drain people for 2 life. I don't like it that much, but maybe in some sort of very slow deck it's worth. I don't like it, to be completely honest. Drown in Sorrow, very good. Definitely a card you want to keep in mind in this format. There are a lot of 3 toughness creatures, though. That is something to keep in mind. Eater of Hope, it's a 6/4 flyer for 7. It's the black pre-release. It's very good. This card is a limited bomb. It's going to be hard to deal with for a lot of people. Eye Gouge, fantastic flavor. Just props to Wizards for this card. I don't think it's good enough for limited play. Maybe? I don't know. There are a lot of 1 toughness creatures too, but flavor-wise, fantastic. I really like Fate Unraveler because it's a 3/4, and this format has, as I said, a lot of 3 power creatures. And this one's hard to deal with. Also, it can, encourage people to play the slow game. So anytime they draw a card, you shoot them, and it's like, ha ha ha. Fade Return, I think it's quite powerful and limited. It's, however, 7 mana, and that's a lot. Fellhead Brawler is basically just another bear. If you need the 2-drop slot with 2/2s, it fills like, satisfies your need. We have Forlorn Sudama. I probably pronounced that one wrong, but don't care. It's a 4 mana, 2/1 Intimidate. So, it's okay. And then it does have Inspired, where you can put 2/2 black zombie enchantment tokens onto the battlefield. The fact that it has Intimidate means it's a little bit more likely that it'll connect, but I'm still not impressed. We have Forsaken Drifters. It's a 4/2 for 4, which stats are pretty bad, to be completely honest. And when it does, you mill 4. Like, this is not a card you want to play, ideally. Guild, it's removal. Take it, play it, be happy. Grizzly Transformation, 3 mana, gets Intimidate and cantrips. I'm not a huge fan of like gaining Intimidate, really. It does cantrip, so it's not like the worst if you really need heroic enablers. That's basically what this is for. Don't try and get too cute and make this with Inspired though. Herald of Torment's very good. This card is very, very powerful, and it's definitely a card you want to consider for limited. Um, Marsh Mist Titan, it is a 4/5, so the body is quite relevant. And if you get to cast it for maybe like 5 mana even, it's a slightly worse, like Ness and Asp has, you know, Monstrosity, which makes it much better. But getting a 4/5 can be relevant, especially since in black you do have plenty of cheap options to get Devotion kind of early on. I don't like Necrobite the first time it was printed. I don't like it here. Nyxborn Eidolon is the worst of the Eidolons, really. I mean, it's just a 2/1, and then Bestow for 5 is +2/+1, so I don't like it. Not that much, really. Oduno's River Trawler. This is a card that I can get behind, though. It's a 3-mana 2/2 with a Gravedigger-like effect that, yeah, if you are playing black-white, you have plenty of enchantment creatures to pick up. So that's the only downside is the color commitment, is you're committing to a second color, but this is a card I can get behind. I don't like Painseer. No matter what people say about Dark Confidant or anything, you have to put so much work to get extra cards, and it's not as good as in Limited. Sanguimancy, I think it's a good design. I'm not sure exactly what I think, because it's probably going to be like 5 mana, you know, pay 5 life, draw 5 cards, which is okay, but, eh. Servant of Timurit, 3 mana, 1/3, so again, 3 toughness. But it does allow you to drain every turn. It's basically like the Scholar of Athros or whatever, the black 1/4 that drains drains 1 life at the cost of 2 colorless black. This basically does the same thing. Like, you can regenerate it too, which is kind of a thing. Shrike Harpy is pretty bad, because sometimes you really need to kill their creature and they'll just give you a 4/4 and keep beating you down with it. And sometimes you really want a 4/4 and they're like, oh, I'll just sack, or, you know, I'll sack a 1/1. So, I don't like it. Spiteful Return. This is another bestow creature that I can get behind. Being able to make them lose 2 life is not that bad, especially since it's a cheap bestow cost. So this is another uncommon that might be interesting to play with. War Chanter Mogus, it's a 5 mana 3/3, so again 3 power and 3 toughness. And giving creatures Intimidates is, I mean, you can start chaining Intimidate with this thing, but I'm not impressed. And Weight of the Underworld, I love the Atlas reference. -3, -2. So if it was -3, -3, it'd be so much better. It'd be so much better. I still think it's only okay. But man, why couldn't they make it -3, -3? Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check out the other parts. Thanks again for watching.